All right. So good afternoon. For today, we'll be discussing about our second module, which is about philosophical frameworks and cultural issues. So after completing this chapter, the student should be able to, we needed to learn what is engineering and social justice, know what is human rights traditions, and know what can social justice frames bring to engineering and philosophy. This part of the handbook discusses recent work that connects engineering, social justice, and peace. So I'll give a brief overview of key ideas in social justice and peace frameworks and explore how they relate to engineering. I'll be talking about the impact of social justice perspectives on discussions about engineering and philosophy, and this will focus on four main areas, including continental philosophy and critical theory in engineering, considering critics from philosophers who challenge certain viewpoints, examining the relationship between engineering and war, capitalism and colonialism, and integrating new ways of knowing into engineering such as community-based and indigenous knowledge. So these areas are connected and each one builds on the previous ones. So, what is engineering and social justice? So, in the book in 2008 about engineering and social justice, the author deliberately avoided presenting a fixed definition of social justice. The suggestion was made that determining who has the authority to define social justice is itself a matter of justice, advocating that individuals experiencing injustice should be the ones shaping the definition. Consequently, this approach results in varied and context-specific definitions of social justice influenced by both time and one's geographical and social circumstances. The term social in social justice emphasizes that ideas of justice are formulated within communities, particularly as part of social justice movements. Examining various social justice movements offers insights into how social justice has been defined across different times and locations, prompting consideration of its meaning in contemporary engineering contexts. Despite acknowledging the inherent incompleteness of this definition of social justice, it serves to illustrate certain aspects of what social justice entails and can encompass. Examples of social justice movements encompass those advocating for equal treatment under the law, human rights initiatives, and calls for participatory governance. Virtue-based definitions of social justice may involve love and compassion as driving forces behind demands for universal access to necessities like food, shelter, and healthcare. Additionally, revolutionary definitions focus on the struggle against oppression and the dismantling of systems promoting power and privilege, such as sexism, racism, homophobia, transphobia, ableism, ageism, and classicism. Other topics integral to social justice movements include environmental justice, workers' rights, economic justice, access to education, affordable housing, immigrant rights, LGBTQ plus rights or liberation, anti-militarism efforts, reparations for historical injustices like slavery or colonialism, dismantling the prison industrial complex, and fostering right relationships between people and the planet, among many other endeavors. Social justice movements in a broader context don't necessarily align with formal philosophy. However, one can observe various intellectual and activism traditions engaging in meaningful dialogue, shaping the thinking and actions associated with social justice. Throughout history, several religious traditions have dwelled into scholarly discussions concerning human rights and social justice. The interconnectedness of intellectual and activism traditions, as highlighted in Marx's 1845 concept of praxis, reflects the profound relationship between thought and action. So this includes but not limited to Marxist traditions, rights-based traditions, critical traditions, and ecological traditions. These categories often intertwine as different traditions mutually influence each other through the practice of social justice, a topic explored further below. For engineers, Marx holds particular significance due to engineering's pivotal role in the Industrial Revolution and the intricate positions engineers assume within industrial capitalism. The first crucial concept pertaining to engineering and social justice is the idea of class struggle, a critique of capitalism highlighting that labor contracts aren't freely entered into but are inherently power imbalance. In the context of industrial capitalism, workers undergo alienation from their labor products, themselves, others, and nature. Engineers occupying roles that bridge between workers and management industry often find themselves in conflicting positions, making it imperative for them to comprehend these dynamics. Building on the Marxist tradition and incorporating Kantian notions of critical examination, the Frankfurt School of Critical Theories established a philosophical approach focused on liberating people from oppression, Horkheimer 1937. This interdisciplinary field not only highlights issues with the world but also endeavors to devise strategies for change by merging philosophy with various social sciences. Within this critical tradition, a range of theories has emerged, including feminist theory, critical race theory, queer theory, disability theory, post-colonial or decolonizing theory, and others. These theories, influenced by Frankfurt School philosophers, blend philosophy and social justice or science to tackle social justice concerns. By examining structural power dynamics, they systematically address racism, sexism, heterosexism, ableism, colonialism, and various forms of oppression. As a result, these theories can significantly contribute to informing and reframing initiatives within engineering aimed at addressing these issues. There exists a body of literature aiming to depict the experiences of minority engineers in relation to the prevailing culture within engineering education. Amy Slatton in 2010 chronicles the history of African Americans in engineering education post-World War II, exploring both student and institutional perspectives. Cynthia Four and colleagues in 2007 conduct an ethnographic study delving into the intersectionality of race, class, and gender, focusing on a female multi-minority student from an economically disadvantaged background. Lord and Camacho in 2013 examined the intersectionality of race and gender in their exploration of the experience of Latina engineers. Erin Sech in 2013 highlights how ideologies of depoliticization and meritocracy in engineering impede resistance to social inequality. Adopting a critical perspective necessitates elevating considerations of race, class, gender, ableism, heteronormativity, and other power relations to a central position in discussions on engineering and engineering education. Feminist philosopher of science Sandra Harding provides a systematic examination of racism and colonialism in science and engineering, highlighting that the U.S. space program aimed to showcase the legitimacy and desirability of global dominance by white supremacist Western societies. The engineering community might react to this assertion with surprise or dismissal due to unfamiliarity with such arguments. However, the space program does embody this pursuit of power symbolically through space exploration and practically through the development of spacecraft with evident military applications including propulsion. In her work 2006, Harding prompts reflection on the conditions under which a society with pervasive structural racism could produce sciences that don't contribute to justifying and perpetuating such white supremacy. Following World War II, The Universal Declaration of Human Rights in 1948 by the United Nations affirmed the entitlement of every individual worldwide to personhood, life, liberty, security, equality before the law, due process, freedom of conscience, and protection from slavery, torture, arbitrary arrest or detention, and the declaration also guarantees rights to work, from unions, access health, education, and social welfare. Criticisms of the rights framework suggest it is overly rooted in Western liberal individualism. Panikar in 1982, Sunstein in 1995, but alternative frameworks such as those articulated by the Organization of African Unity in 1981 and the Cairo Declaration on Human Rights in Islam in 1993 offer different perspectives. Humanitarian engineering endeavors aim at supporting development to fulfill basic human needs may draw insights from those or these traditions and others. Numerous social justice movements adopt a rights framework to advance their goals with its origins traced back to Enlightenment philosophers like Locke, Rousseau, and Hobbes. A contemporary figure of significance is the late 20th century philosopher John Rawls in 1971, who advocates for institutional changes to foster greater social and economic equality, challenging the effectiveness of charitable giving alone. Rawls' theory has faced substantial critique in the realm of philosophical discourse on social justice, with scholars like Martha Nussbaum in 2003 highlighting limitations in assuming equality among individuals in society. Rights-based arguments have been foundational in various movements in U.S. history, including those advocating for abolition, women's suffrage, desegregation, and civil rights for different minority groups. These historical movements in turn shape contemporary struggles within engineering for increased representation and inclusion, recognizing the philosophical underpinnings of the quest for diversity and inclusion in engineering can provide valuable insights for guiding future actions. In exploring the intersection of engineering, sustainability, and social justice within the framework of ecological justice, the incorporation of sustainability concerns in engineering takes various forms. Scholars like Nussbaum in 2003 observed that justice theories rooted in the work of Rawls and others may not adequately consider non-human entities. Notably, Stone in 1974 argued for extending rights to nature in the seminal work should trees have standing? While earlier movements like African or American transcendentalism, embodied by figures such as Emerson in 1836 and Thoreau 1854, address human-nature relationships. A more direct engagement with ecological challenges emerged since the 1960s, sparked by Rachel Carson's Silent Spring in 1963 and inspired by Aldo Leopold's advocacy for an evolving land ethic in 1949. Although not exhaustive or definitive, this overview suggests various environmental thought strands that have yet to significantly impact mainstream engineering sustainability initiatives but should be considered for a more comprehensive integration of sustainability in engineering, embracing a diverse range of philosophical perspectives. The engineering profession has historically maintained close connections with military pursuits. The term engineering itself has roots in military technology as indicated by the Oxford English Dictionary 1989, leading to the categorization of civil engineering as non-military or civilian in nature. The inaugural engineering school in the United States originated at West Point, and European polytechnics similarly trace their beginnings to military academies by Hacker 1989. Beyond the tangible associations where engineers' work is funded by military entities and involves the production of military products, there exist profound cultural links between national defense industries and engineering, encompassing both education and professional practice. Hacker in 1989 examines the impact of U.S. military institutions on various societal aspects, including manufacturing processes, labor procedures, the content, and pedagogy of engineering education, the socialization of boys in organizations like the Boy Scouts, and more broadly, the construction of masculinity. In the 1960s, Wisniewski's 2003 examines three distinct approaches employed by mostly academic scientists and engineers to oppose militarism in engineering. Princeton's civil engineering professor Steve Slaby successfully questioned military associations in his colleagues' work and advocated for the removal of the Institute for Defense Analysis from the campus. At MIT's Fluid Mechanics Laboratory, recognizing an excessive reliance on defense-related funding, efforts made to restore balance by undertaking fluid mechanics projects in humanitarian areas. Scientists and engineers for social and political action, or CESPA, later known as Science for the People, openly protested science's close connections to the military-industrial complex at the annual meeting of the AAAS. In their work, Ethan Blue, Michael Levine, and Dean Niosma in 2013 dwelt into the connection between engineering and war, exposing the intricate ties of the military-industrial economic complex. They examined traditional ethics, analysis of war, and explore engineering ethics within the realm of professional practice. Their work not only serves as a critic but also offers a roadmap for resistance and reimagining the essence and potential of engineering. Engineering professor George Catalano in 2004 suggests a modification of engineering education outcomes for accreditation, emphasizing peace with oneself, others, and the planet. This proposal reflects the belief that peace originates internally and within homes, extending towards fostering cross-cultural and cross-national understanding, ultimately leading to harmony with non-human life on the planet. Such propositions challenge the conventional norms in engineering education and encourage contemplation of possibilities achievable through a shift in priorities. In this introduction to various concepts, the author has demonstrated how applying these concepts might bring about changes in engineering education or practice. However, the discussion has not yet explored how these concepts could contribute ideas to the emerging field of engineering philosophy. It is crucial, particularly when combining two fields traditionally dominated by males, whiteness, and Western and Northern traditions of thought, to consciously shape a field of engineering philosophy that actively counters rather than reproduces these power relations. Philosophy itself faces marginalization within the discipline of engineering, and by understanding lessons from marginalized groups through social justice frameworks, strategies can be identified to counter philosophy's marginalization within engineering. The author specifically examines three philosophical areas: ethics, epistemology, and pedagogy, or educational theory, where a pluralistic approach to philosophy can significantly reshape the practice of engineering and engineering education. And these are some of the references that we could use regarding the discussion that we had. And related to this one, we'll just be doing a little case study. And our case study is related to this topic: ethical dilemmas in AI hiring systems, navigating engineering, social justice, and human rights traditions. So this is the program specification. So we're gonna imagine a scenario where a multinational technology company is developing a cutting-edge artificial intelligence, or AI system, to automatically hire um, individuals or employees to their company. So the company claims that the AI system, based on advanced algorithms, can select candidates more efficiently and objectively. However, reports suggest that the system exhibits biases, disproportionately favoring certain demographics while disadvantaging others. The biases seem to be perpetuating existing social inequalities rather than promoting fairness in hiring practices. In light of the learning outcomes related to engineering and social justice, human rights traditions, and the application of social justice frames in engineering and philosophy, critically analyze and discuss the following. First, identify the engineering and social justice implications. Sub-questions are, how do the biases in the AI hiring system align with the principles of social justice in the context of employment and human rights? Another question, what ethical concerns arise from the potential discriminatory impact of the technology on diverse groups? And the second question, evaluate the situation from the perspective of human rights traditions. How do the reported biases in the AI system relate to human rights traditions and principles? In what ways might the deployment of this technology infringe upon individuals' rights and contribute to social injustices in the professional sphere? And finally, examine the role of social justice frames in engineering and philosophy. How can social justice frames be applied to assess and rectify the biases in the AI system? Discuss the ethical responsibilities of engineers and professionals in addressing social justice concerns, particularly in the development and deployment of advanced technologies like AI. And last, propose strategies for incorporating social justice in engineering practices. Suggest concrete steps that the company and its engineering team could take to rectify the biases in the AI system, ensuring fair and equitable hiring practices. And last, explore how a philosophical framework emphasizing social justice can guide engineers and professionals in creating technologies that align with ethical and human rights standards. So this case study encourages students to apply their understanding of engineering and social justice, human rights traditions, and the role of social justice frames in the context of a real-world scenario, emphasizing the ethical considerations and responsibilities of engineers in shaping a more just and equitable society. So this will be the file naming convention. So you'll be working with this case study by pair, and you're gonna be submitting using this format, CPN18 surname 1, surname 2 underscore case study 1, and save as PDF. And you have to upload this one in our official model account. Thank you.